Hi guys, you're welcome again to another edition on the AfroCinet podcast. And this evening we are going to be discussing and talking about studying in Germany and working in Germany. And I am inviting all of you who are watching us to hit the subscribe button, like our videos and share them. Also comment so that we can know how we are doing and give us a feedback so that we can be able to serve you better. The AfroCinet podcast is here to serve you and to give you an experience about living in Germany through talking to people who have lived and worked here or studied here. And this evening, I'm going to be talking with our friend here. He was here from the very beginning of the AfroCinet podcast.
Yeah.
And I am Senator Kelese talking with you, and I would like you to properly introduce yourself
Once more.
again.
Yeah.
Yes. And give us an introduction which tells us exactly who you are.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Senator. I'm Victor Emanuelo. I'm from Nigeria. I came to Germany here in 2019, October 2019, for my master's degree program in engineering.
Okay.
I was fortunate enough to get the master's program in a city called Magdeburg, Germany, in the eastern part. But I decided to move over to the western part here in Mannheim for my internship and my master's thesis. And
all right, thank you
now
very
I'm
much.
working as an engineer. Yeah.
All right, we are going to break this down
Mm.
for our audience. I want to take you back to Nigeria.
Okay.
Can you tell us what you did in Nigeria before coming to study here, and
Okay.
what you studied here when you
Mm.
finally came
When I
to
finally
Germany?
came. So I'm like the typical Nigerian story, I would say.
Okay.
My life has been all about studies, discipline, Nigerian parents and everything. They want their children to always want the best for their children and all. So I completed my bachelor's degree in the University of Benin, one of
Okay.
the prestigious universities in Nigeria.
Oh, University of Benin.
University of Benin, yeah, in engineering, chemical engineering.
Okay.
And afterwards, I had this conversation. Actually, that was like in final year in our university. I had a conversation with a lot of my colleagues then, and
Okay.
the question was, what next?
Okay, what next?
What next?
Okay.
And everybody, we understood the trajectory of the country.
Yeah.
And from the discussion we had, a lot of us decided, okay, we want to study further. We want to.
Okay.
Some actually decided to, stay back in Nigeria and, make something for themselves there. But for me personally, it was more or less, continue my studies.
All right. Okay. Let's be very clear here.
Mm-hmm.
What engineering did you do in Nigeria?
Chemical engineering.
Chemical engineering.
Yeah.
And is it the same thing you came and studied in Germany?
Yeah, that was the same program. So I studied chemical engineering in Nigeria. Then the program I was like the admission I got was chemical and energy engineering. So it was in the same line of engineering.
Oh, nice. Okay, in the path to getting to know how you got here, our audience would like to know how you got to know about the school which you studied in here, because you explained that from your bachelor's program, several of you, that is your mates, decided to stay back in Nigeria, while others like yourself were ambitious enough and wanted to go further.
Exactly, to explore other countries and see.
Now, tell us how you got to know about the school where you studied.
Yeah. So actually, I had other options. Like I was also searching other options, other countries, for example, the United States, Canada. But Germany was always a country that came to mind. I remembered after completing our degree, then I enrolled in a German class.
Okay.
I wanted to do something,
okay,
learn
you
a new
already
language.
Back then enrolled
Exactly,
in a German class.
A1 level German. And while I was with my classmates, I got to get the full information on the processes that are required to apply to Germany. I
Okay.
also had a friend then that also had aspirations to come to Germany, although he decided to go to Australia
Oh,
later on.
okay.
Yeah,
He had aspirations to come to Germany,
Germany, yeah,
but
but
finally went to Australia.
decided to go to Australia. Yeah,
Is it this friend that told you about the University of
yeah,
Magdeburg where you studied?
yeah, he like told me about the opportunities in
Okay.
Germany. I wasn't aware that the education there was free. Like it's
Okay.
less to nothing in
Yeah.
comparison to actually what we paid back then
Yeah.
in Nigeria. It was kind
Okay.
of quite subsidized, I would say.
All right. And then, not to make any publicity, we are not here to do publicity for any university.
Yeah.
I would like to tell our audience that if you're thinking of doing chemical engineering, you can actually be thinking of University of Magdeburg.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
University of
It's
Magdeburg.
a very good university. The lectures, the professors, the course content, I would say it's quite
Okay. So the
you will get
faculty are
everything.
they actually have a grip of what they are giving out.
Exactly. And
All right.
I really enjoyed my study there, my stay there, and the course content and the opportunities I got while I was there. I was able to do an internship.
Okay. Now, before we got to that, thank you very much. Now, you got to know about University of Magdeburg, where you could do chemical engineering, which was your passion.
Yeah.
What did you do next?
Which is my passion.
Which is your passion? Okay. Thank you for the correction, because it is not like it's something in the past, but it's still your passion today.
Yeah.
So, what did you do next?
So I did my personal research.
Okay.
I searched universities. There's the website www.daad.de.
Okay.
So I did some research on courses, master's program, graduate programs in Germany.
Yeah.
And actually, I applied to a lot, like about 4 universities back then.
Okay.
I got admission to 3.
Oh,
three
wow.
Of the universities
3 of the 4 that you applied
to.
Okay.
I got admission to Hochschule Bremerhaven.
Yeah.
I got admission to Technical University Berlin.
Yeah.
Then also Magdeburg, University of Magdeburg. That's Otto von Guericke University, Magdeburg.
Now we are trying to look at your trajectory from Nigeria, the choice of your university. Now we are going to talk about why you choose Magdeburg over the other 2 that you were admitted to.
Yeah.
So can you tell us that thing that distinguished Magdeburg for you?
For
to be able to choose them over Berlin and the other universities.
For me, looking outside, cost of living.
Okay.
Cost of living was my deciding factor. Okay. I already got my apartment before stepping my foot here in Germany. I wanted to settle in and get myself appraised with the coursework and the lectures and not having to search for apartments.
Thank you, Victor. I would like to say that and to tell our audience that if you're considering coming to Germany, like any other country you could think of going, it is always important to do some background check.
Yeah.
Think about the cost of living. Try to compare cost of living in different cities. There are websites that you can do this on.
Yeah.
And then when you have information from all these sites, you can then be able to make a good choice. In fact, an informed choice.
Yeah.
And that is what you did. Okay, let us now leave Nigeria and come to Germany. When you got to Magdeburg, what was the first thing that surprised you about being in Germany?
The weather.
Okay.
It was kind of like a poof on the face.
All right.
Exactly that. Like it was really cold.
Yeah.
Then I've not had encounter like such extreme weather conditions. Okay. Obviously, the weather in our country is tropical. We have a lot of sunny, rainy season. So coming here, having the first whiff of winter, and not properly like preparing for that in terms of clothing wise. You get what I mean?
Yeah, sure.
So I had to do my research. I had to get myself the necessary gears and wares,
Okay.
And that was my first real eye opener, I would say. I was lucky. I had a friend back then in Germany.
Yeah.
Who picked me up from the airport there in Leipzig. I actually
Okay.
landed in Leipzig
Leipzig.
airport
Okay.
there, and then I took the train to Magdeburg.
Okay.
And like I said, I did study a little bit of German before coming to Germany. I
Okay.
got to a B1 level German.
Wow.
Yeah, so
Wow.
that really helped me.
Yeah,
So
that will really be helpful. And like we've been saying
mm,
in most of our videos, if you think of coming to Germany,
mm,
have some level of German,
yeah,
it will help.
it
I
helps a
was
lot.
unfortunate that
Mm,
I didn't learn any German before coming here.
yeah.
And the first few days, or
Mm,
should I say the first few years, were really difficult. But then we're encouraging everybody who is
mm,
thinking of coming to Germany to try to learn some German. So we've talked about your very first experience,
mm.
and that was the weather, the first thing that threw you off.
Yeah, yeah. Like I said, it was like a whip on the face.
All right. That's interesting.
Yeah,
That's an
yeah.
interesting one.
It's exactly how I would describe it actually.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Moving from there
Mm.
to settling down and studying, how did you do this? How easy was it for you to settle down?
Uh, what will I say? For me, the studies was not like the difficult aspect. I really enjoy what I do. The aspect of, getting used to the environment,
Yeah.
that's first and foremost the weather.
Yeah.
I did my personal research. I love research and strategy. It's something I take very seriously.
Mm-hmm.
The courses you are going to take part in. The lecturers, the curriculum, the portals you have to register, like where you're going to register the courses in. Like I'd done extensive research on all that.
Okay, that is about your
That's
academics.
the academic
But now we are
aspect.
asking, the question we are asking here is focusing in the direction of like getting used to the environment,
Mm,
registering your apartment,
yeah,
doing your health insurance,
yeah.
doing all these things that you have to do to
Mm,
settle down in Germany.
mm.
How easy was it for you in Magdeburg to do this?
Yeah, it wasn't so easy. Like we had some events that we took part in as like freshers back then
Okay.
in the university. So we're able to got to know a lot about for example, where the
Okay. So
finance
you are given a
arms
kind of orientation.
orientation, exactly.
Okay.
Orientation, and
That's really
many of the
good.
information you could find online actually. You
Okay.
could find online what are the first steps, in coming to Germany. How do you get to kickstart your health insurance?
Okay.
And
So some of these
get
things you
your
were able
Steuer
to,
ID,
okay,
exactly,
your tax ID.
tax
So you
ID.
were able to find some of these things online and
Yeah,
just
yeah,
do
yeah,
them.
yeah, yeah.
All right, that is an interesting part because
Mm,
I remember when I was about traveling, my uncle invited me, and what he wanted to give me was his maps
oh,
that he used some years
so
back
back
when he was here in
in
Germany.
Germany.
And then I told him that, oh, I can already just use my phone
Mm,
with Google
with
Maps
Google Maps, I
and go
could
anywhere that I want. And he
exactly.
was like, okay, you're in a different world. But
Mm.
back in our days, we were
This
using,
was
and that is actually what was happening. Back
mm,
in the day, you have to trace on the map, and I can imagine how difficult that
yeah,
could be.
and probably in the future we'll talk of AI.
Probably in the future, you'll be able to say it, and then it just takes you
Takes you
wherever.
exactly.
All right, thank you very much. Let us go again. Let us move again now to your studies. You studied chemical engineering.
Yes.
And from what I understood, not only in this discussion,
Mm.
but from knowing you personally, I know that is your passion. How easy was it for you to transition from being a student to working in Germany? Because you studied here,
Yeah.
and you are now working. How easy was it to transition from being a student to work?
Everyone that comes to Germany, they have their different story as regards to job hunting, and so mine was I was opportunity to get an internship. I applied, I had the interviews and all. During the internship program, I gave my very best in the
Okay.
internship program. Then during that, I was able to get my master's thesis, a master's opportunity in the same company.
In the same company.
Yeah, in the same
So you
company.
did internship in the same company.
Mm.
You did your master's thesis in
Yeah,
the company.
in the company. Yeah.
And then you're working in the same company.
I'm working in the same company.
Oh.
Yeah, but not directly this time, but through an engineering firm.
Okay.
Exactly.
All right.
Through an engineering firm, but we have a lot of contracts with the same company.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's really interesting.
It's a kind of like the circle coming.
Yes. So your story is quite different from what
From
others
exactly.
typically would say, because after the university, after your studies, you have some time to look for a job. And it's interesting here in Germany because after you study, you're given 18 months to look for a job. But in your own case,
I actually have my story as regard that. So I didn't get my first job immediately as well.
okay.
You know, so I had took some time for me to get my first employment. And like I said, if I'm going to advise anybody coming to Germany and or building relationship, especially with people you work with, it's very important. So one of these relationships actually helped in or spurred me to get my get other opportunities. For example,
good. So you are saying that for you to be able to get into the German job market, or break into the German society, you need to create contacts.
Yeah, relationships.
You need to create relationships,
especially with people you work directly with.
Okay.
So, for example, if it's an internship, your direct supervisor, there's a way you have to be cordial. You have to, try to adapt to the environment. Just be honest about your work.
Thank you very much, Victor. I mean, your story is very interesting, and I am sure our listeners and our audience are learning something from it, especially those that are planning to come here anytime soon to study and thinking of coming to work here. What is that one thing that till date, as we speak, you still don't feel very comfortable about in Germany? Can you think of anything?
That I'll have to think about.
Okay.
Yeah. Obviously, you encounter a lot of awkward conversations, and the staring eyes.
Okay. All right.
And like where we come from, we have some different kind of culture. This respect, culture of respect. You give cordial respect to especially people older than you. You get
Thank you.
At first, especially during the work scene, I was given too much respect, I would say, which is for me it was normal.
Yeah.
But one had to adjust a little. But still, as a Nigerian guy, you still sometimes you still fall short in a way because you still want to accord your not surely superiors, but your supervisors or your colleagues, especially people with more experience than you have, a little more respect. You get so.
Yeah, of course. That is reminding me of something that I learned when I started working here. When you are calling somebody sir, you're actually building a barrier between you and the person,
yeah, exactly.
which will make work not to flow easily.
Yeah,
that's why it's difficult to hear somebody here call another person sir. But with us back home, back in Nigeria or in Cameroon, where I come from, you have to address somebody with some respect.
With some respect.
Thank you very much. Now, what would be your advice to students who are hoping, or to people who are hoping to come and study here?
Research.
Okay.
It's like a lot of people, they decide, okay, I want to go through probably an agency, or you want to go through different methods, as in there's no exact science to it. But one thing I can assure you of is you have to do the work. You have to do a lot of research. If whatever university you're applying to, the program, what are the requirements, what's the town like? What's the cost of living? What's the average cost of rent in this town? And it doesn't hurt to research people that have actually attended such universities. You could do that by going on LinkedIn. A simple LinkedIn search on alumni in such universities.
All right, thank you very much.
Get contacts. Yeah.
Good. And I want to remind our audience that you are still on the AfroCine podcast. And this podcast was designed to help you understand what it takes to come and study in Germany, to live in Germany, to come and do vocational training in Germany, and whatever thing around here. And what we are doing is just to be able to give information out there so that before you come here, you know what it is. Now, I am going to ask you this question.
Yeah.
What is your day like as a chemical engineer?
So, first, the chemical engineering, what I like, the what's referred to as Bezeichnung, the job description right now
Yeah.
is referred to as process engineer.
Okay.
So it's a lot of similarities between both job description. But my typical day as an engineer, depending on whatever contracts I have at the moment, because we work with clients, right? The clients may be the big chemical firms or pharmaceutical firms, or yeah. So it could be a typical boring day in the office,
Okay.
working with a computer, trying to simulate or have a model, trying to simulate real life processes,
Okay.
Or it could also be quite interesting and nerve-wracking because there are deadlines that you have to meet,
Okay.
and you have to go to the sites, the construction sites,
Okay.
where such processes are going to be implemented there, where the, for example, pipings and
Okay.
processes are going to be probably changed if it changes required as part of the job, as part of the contract,
Okay.
the scope of the contract,
Thank you very much.
So, and yeah, depending on the day, it can be
Okay.
from the slow day in the office to the
Now-
busy site visit.
Now, I am going to go in a parallel way. There is a guy now in Nigeria.
Yeah.
There is a guy now in Cameroon.
Mhm.
A guy in South America.
Yeah.
A guy in Asia. And he wants to come here and study chemical engineering, but not hoping to stay and work here.
Mhm.
Because for those of us who are here now, we also want to build capacities back home.
Back home, yeah. That's actually
So
a dream of
that
mine.
that person
Mhm.
who wants to come and study here and go
Mhm.
back,
Mhm.
what kind of companies can the person be thinking of? For example, Nigeria. Let me take
Nigeria, for example.
Nigeria. What company can this person be thinking of going back to work?
So Nigeria, for example.
Yes.
I would say
just general. It's not the
simplest
specific
answer.
companies.
The
Yeah.
simplest answer would be the Dangote refinery, for example.
Okay.
Which is
Like-
seen as the largest single train refinery right now in the world.
Okay.
Just started operations last year,
Okay.
and as a process engineer, as a chemical engineer, you could find employment in such establishments. There are also other big chemical companies,
Yeah.
also in Africa, in Asia, for example. But one thing I can assure such persons of such motivation is Germany, when it comes to the education, is quite robust.
Okay.
You become a multifaceted engineer.
Yeah.
You become a disciplined engineer, and it's a well-rounded training, I would say. I don't know for anybody, but from my personal experience, something I value, I cherish.
So from what you are saying and the way you speak, I will assume that you are actually encouraging more people to get into chemical engineering.
Yeah, why not? We need chemical engineers.
Okay. Yes, and we can hope that
we need more engineers.
Yes. So I will be letting our audience know that if you do chemical engineering, you will not only be useful in Germany, but you can also be useful back in your own country.
Yep.
Because there are companies that need chemical engineers. There are companies that need process engineers. And you can go into any of these areas and be able to make an impact. Now, maybe the last question or winding down.
Yeah.
How easy is it to get admission into a German university to do chemical engineering? Are there a lot of people, in your own opinion, are there a lot of people who are coming in for this course, such that if I am looking for admission, what will I think are my possibilities?
Your possibilities. First and foremost, like the demand is quite high. Like there are a lot of students that come in from different countries. It's
Okay.
an international environment, I would say. Even for universities like the university I studied in, you find a large international community. People from China, people from India, people from Nigeria, people from different parts of Africa as well, from Asia, from South America, coming to the universities here in Germany to get very good education. So, the most important thing is you have to know the requirements. First and foremost, your background has to be a very solid background, has to correspond to what you're applying for. For example, if you're studying if you want to do a master's in chemical engineering, you should have a background in chemical engineering.
Okay.
Then there's also
are there specific subjects that you must, or specific courses that you must have a very strong background in from your bachelor's? Can you mention some of them?
Like so that if anybody who has studied chemical engineering in his or her country, for example, obviously there are chemical reaction engineering, you have separation processes, plant design, process design. There are a lot of courses that you have to have a strong background in order for you to you have safety. Then if you want to engage in simulations, applications in chemical engineering, for example, and it's I would say the education is quite robust. It's something that you really gain a lot of.
And to conclude our discussion, any last word you can tell our audience, if there is something that you still want to say about coming to Germany to study and precisely chemical engineering and working in Germany as a chemical engineer, this is the time to look into that camera and tell our audience.
Yeah, like it's a journey, obviously uprooting your life from whatever country, trying to move into a new country, it's tough enough. There has to be a hidden motivation. So whatever course of study or whatever journey you're embarking on, moving to a different country, you have to have a real foundation, a motivation, for taking such strong decision.
Have a motivation.
Yeah, and it shouldn't just be for, in my opinion, it shouldn't just be to improve the standard of living. It should also
so
be.
It should go with passion.
Passion.
Thank you.
Yeah. So that's.
Thank you very much for this discussion.
Yeah, I'm glad to be part of this podcast, and I'm glad to also be granted the opportunity to tell my story.
Thank you very much, and we will be coming back to you again some other time in the future to know how it is moving, because we still want to get these experiences of people, how people are living here, especially people who have come from other countries, how they are surviving in Germany, how they are making a life here, and how they are creating an impact, and maybe how they are reconsidering their skills to be able to support their individual countries where they are coming from. Because that is one aspect that we cannot forget. And ladies and gentlemen, you have been watching the AfroCnet podcast, and we are happy that you were our audience today and you listened to Victor's story. And I am hopeful that it inspired somebody who wants to come here and study, and it is also giving hope, because we want to give hope for people who have dreams. And once you have a dream, we want to say that that dream is valid. This is the AfroCnet podcast, and keep watching. This is where you get the right and reliable information. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Thank you.